You support the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms?
Yes, I do.
Hold your mic up, please.
Yes, I do. And as a police officer working in the state of Minnesota, we did have the concealed carry. I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Can you turn him up a little bit? Can't hear you back there. But I want you to hold that mic right up in front of you, and you address them, don't address me.
Okay. As a police officer working in the state of Minnesota, I was well aware of the concealed carry permit process and how it was done in Minnesota. I do support the concealed carry. As a police officer working in the state of Minnesota, people did have concealed carry. The process in that state was to get the proper training, have a background check, and then be issued a permit through the sheriff's department. As a police officer, I don't feel there's a problem having the good people having guns. As a police officer, when I would stop a car, if somebody did have a gun with them, they were trained to keep their hands on the steering wheel. At that time, they would look at the officer and say, I do have a gun, I do have a permit, I'm just letting you know that. At that time, I would look back at the person and say, thank you very much for letting me know. Then I would advise them why they were stopped. I would ask them for the driver's license, and at that time, we treated it like any other traffic stop. I do not feel that good people carrying guns is a threat to me as a police officer or a threat to the public. The bad people are going to have a gun, whether the good ones have or not. So I have no problem letting good people have guns also. Thank you.
Yes, I do support the right for citizens to bear arms. I believe especially in this country, we grew up hunting. I don't see any problem with a citizen that is I guess I want to say responsible with their firearms. I don't see a reason to take the firearms away from our citizens.
For a Republican sheriff, absolutely. However, I do believe that the current, or the most recently tried to pass bill to the legislators in Wisconsin, was 62 pages long. And it addressed issues, well, I should say, it didn't address the issues that bother me the most. In crime or in criminology, there are some concepts, and the concept that I believe in the most is that there's three parts. One, you have a motivated offender, you have a victim, and you have a place. And if you take one of those out of the picture, you don't have a crime. A gun is a part of a crime. And I do believe that it has to be monitored and closely watched for carrying a concealed weapon. The Second Amendment, although debated over the years, is not necessarily, or has been debated over the years. In reality, in Wisconsin, you're probably not going to see concealed carry until you get a Republican governor and the legislators are going to back them and the bill to go through. However, that bill, for me to be comfortable with the bill, I did not support the last two bills that went before the legislators, and I was very adamant about it because it left some loopholes in there that I didn't care for your public safety. I don't believe the framers of the Constitution will allow us, or the framers of the Constitution back when they developed it, didn't necessarily want us carrying concealed guns in schools, hospitals, and post offices, and some of those you can't, I understand. But unfortunately, there are some things in these bills that I did not care for. One specifically is mental health. A mental health person, after 5 years in an institution or 5 years on pills, and if they get a written letter from somebody that they're okay and they're taking their medication, they can go out and apply for and get a concealed carry weapons permit. That bothers me. What happens if that person stops taking the pills? Now we got a person out there we can't control. We don't know what's going on. The Second Amendment, absolutely. To secure your places, your persons, and your homes, and your businesses, absolutely. I believe we have to be real careful how we frame a bill to allow concealed carry in this state.
The Second Amendment, I'm pro-gun. I know there's been a lot of debate over the concealed carry law. I'm for the concealed carry, but with the concealed carry, I believe people should have to have proper training, education on the firearm, know the safeties, the use of the firearm. I think Wisconsin's going to get concealed carry, like our sheriff said, Terry Dryden, but, you can't just go give anybody a gun. But good law-abiding citizens, why can't they have a concealed weapon? It's protection for themselves, These bad guys, they're going to carry a gun regardless what our government says, what law enforcement says. So, you know what? Let's keep them guessing. And with the proper education and training, let people carry their concealed weapons.